Welcome back to Heroes of Nottingham. My name is Zach Weaver, and I'm here to do a little deck tech for Emerald Amethyst. This deck I just took to the top 8 of the SCG Con Philly 5K, so we're going to break it down. Starting off, we got the Premier 1-drop, from set 3, Curse Merfolk. This card is great for just getting some early pressure going on, and as opposed to Lilo and Melissa biding her time from set 1, them having to discard a card can be a real cost, especially as you're trying to play a tempo game. Them just being down one card over the course of the game can really affect things. As far as the other 1-drops, we've got Rafiki. This card is awesome. It's very similar to Hook from set 1, where you get the Challenger, you get to attack for 3 and has 2 willpower. And it kind of just fits a little bit of that 1-drop curve. It's a little harder to remove, and it can also tag team with your crabs to take down bigger things with the Challenger. Especially, it's really good for getting rid of locations from the opposing side. Last but not least, for our 1-drops, we have Chernobog's Followers. This card I'm super excited about. It's very similar to playing like a Archimedes or something in that slot, but I really like having it in the early game because it's a card that you can quest with, and you can either get some value out of it, or whenever they attack into it, they're usually offering a trade as opposed to your Curse Merfolk where they're going to get to keep their thing and discard a card. This one will usually offer a trade or put some damage on some stuff. So depending on the matchup and what you expect your opponent to do, you can kind of pick your 1-drop of choice to lead the game off and kind of sculpt your game plan starting with that. Then into the 2-drops, we've got Flynn Rider. It complements the Curse Merfolk for our aggro draws where we're just trying to quest a bunch. We go Curse Merfolk on 1, quest for 2, play Flynn. Next turn we're up to 6, and they're going to have to get rid of a bunch of cards to get rid of our board or have removal spells, and it just kind of lets us go super quick. Then we've got Ursula. This card is one of the reasons to be Emerald in set 3. Being able to look at your opponent's hand and take a song card of your choice really helps against like Ruby decks. You get to take their Be Prepareds. Against Steel decks, you get to take their Grab Your Swords or Let the Storm Rage Ons or Strength of the Raging Fires. Against Sapphire decks, you get to take their 1-jump aheads so they can't ramp. Just kind of does a little bit of everything. It's really cool, especially with the bounce package, because you can play it on 2, bounce it back, play it again later, or you can hold it for a key turn. Like if you're like, oh, I think they're about to, whole new world me, then you can play it and take the whole new world on that key turn. And just being inkable means that if they don't happen to have any songs, like you say you're playing against one of those Amber Ruby Mufasa decks, you just turn it into ink. Last but not least in our 2-drops is just a couple of Madame Mim snakes. We're not as efficient at using Madame Mim as a Ruby Amethyst deck is, but we do still want it for some of those late game bouncing, and just also getting a 3/3 on the board on turn 2 can sometimes be really beneficial. But mostly it's for that late game where you want to go goat, bounce goat, replay goat, or start bouncing your rabbits a bunch to keep drawing cards. And then we'll be going into the 3-drops, which is the meat of the deck. So first off is the other Ursula. This card is one of the sweetest cards in set 3. Whenever it sings a song, you get to sing that song again, and then put it on the bottom of your deck. The big payoffs for that are Friends on the Other Side, draw 2. So with Ursula singing it, you get to draw 4, which is awesome. And Mother Knows Best. This card is just really plays into your tempo game plan of keeping their stuff off the board so you can continue to quest with these low drops. You go Curse Merfolk into Flynn into Ursula. Next turn you go bounce your 2 things, quest for 4 again. Next turn you can bounce your 2 things and quest for 4 again, and you just keep tempoing them out and just kind of doing that. And it leads to a lot of games where your opponent just doesn't get to really play the game, and you just keep questing. And it's awesome. You can also, even just playing it, as just a 3-drop, bounce a thing, like singing it with Cloud Kicker or something, works just as well. And then we got a 1 of song for Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. This can do a lot of just kind of weird stuff in the deck, especially with Ursula. You can do something like double bounce your goat to gain 4 lore out of nowhere. You can multi-bounce your genie to bounce multiple things from their board. You just kind of get to do a couple different random shenanigans. It kind of just fills in. It kind of acts like another copy of Mother Knows Best and another copy of Friends of the Other Side. So you get to play like 5 of both and just kind of ties the room together a little bit. Continuing on the 3-drops, we've got Cloud Kicker, the old Man of War. Play this character, bounce something with 2 or less back to their hand. A lot of times I find myself playing this on 3. It depends on this or Ursula. It kind of goes back and forth. Whether or not you want to get one of their challengers off the board to kind of keep questing, or you want to develop your Ursulas and start doing that. But it kind of feels a little bit similar to like a value card, sort of like Maleficent Sorceress from set 1, where it comes into play, does something, and then it's a 3-drop to sing Friends on the Other Side, Mother Knows Best, and just continue to accumulate value. We also have Madame Mim Fox. No surprise there. That card's one of the best purple cards they've ever printed. 3-drop, 4/3 rush, bounce the thing. Just does everything you want in Amethyst. Then we got Merlin Crab. Merlin Crab is phenomenal in this metagame. Even better than it was in set 2, where you were using it to challenge your minis into their minis. Now you're using it to make your Rafikis or your Cursed Merfolks trade into their board. It's great for taking down locations. It combos really well with Madame Mim Fox, so you can like play Merlin, challenge with something, next turn play Fox, bounce Merlin, attack for 7 on something else. That just kind of does it all. In a deck that doesn't challenge very well, Merlin is your card that lets you win board exchanges. And then into the 4-drops, we've got Merlin Goat. ETB leaves, gain a lore. 4/3, well statted, does everything you want, and also just, makes it to where you only have to get to 19. Then you just you play Goat, win the game. It's great. Right along with Merlin Goat is Merlin Rabbit. ETB leaves, draw a card. Just the normal bounce package stuff. And then rounding out our 4-drops, we've got the Queen's Castle. Queen's Castle is a card from set 3. It's the premier location, I think, out of all the locations they've printed so far. If you haven't played with it yet, you definitely should give it a shot. 4-drop, comes to play, quest for 2 every turn. Has 7 willpower, so it's pretty hard to get rid of. They can't even just Maui it. They have to Maui it plus something else. And then at the start of your turn, for every character here, you get to draw a card. So a lot of times you'll play it, and you'll just move as many characters as you can to this card, and then you start just drawing so many cards that you overwhelm your opponent. Or they just have to focus on getting rid of this and not getting rid of your characters. And then to finish it off, we have a small evasive package with 2 Genie on the job and 2 Tinkerbell Most Helpful. Evasive can be pretty difficult for a lot of decks to deal with, so just having a couple of those as like your top end on your curve can kind of help straddle that long game. Once you've kind of tippled them out, they've started developing their board. You just like play a Genie or a Tinkerbell and start getting in for 2 every turn to kind of win the game that way, with getting that last 2 to 4 lore that you need to really close the curtain. But yeah, that's just a little quick deck profile for what I played at the 5K, and hope it was hope you all enjoy it and try it out. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, that's about it for this time. Have a good one.